go to the gym, ice bath, grow a beard, shave the beard off, bitcoins, meditate. My brothers, I have been there, I have done that, and I even got the Manscaped shirt. I've listened to the podcast, I've done the side hustles, the monk mode. And look, wow, I made it. Look at, wow. And I'll be honest, after this whole journey, I have come to the realization that it was kind of a bit of a scam. But bear with me, because today I will tell the full picture, the full story of self-improvement, self-help, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And let's discuss the harsh reality of self-improvement.
It's so easy to be great nowadays, my friend, because most people are weak. Most people don't want to go to that extra mile. Most people don't want to find that extra because it sucks. It's miserable. It's lonely.
When I was a young blood tearing up the playground, I wasn't like the super cool, popular kid, but I wasn't the real nerdy, dweeby kid. I was somewhere in between, almost as if there was a potential TV show you could make about it. The in-betweenies. I had all these interests as a kid. I was like playing guitar, doing Lego, playing games on Miniclip. But one day, my voice broke, and all I could think about was women, girls, female women. And in amongst my nerdy tendencies, I one day stumbled across the world of online dating advice. Oh boy.
You're adorable.
Huh?
You are cute.
Oh.
Who are you? Okay.
In the mid-2010s, I unwittingly entered the world of self-improvement. It wasn't really called that back then, but it was really trying to tell you one thing, and that is that you need to be confident. Wow, look how straight that man's spine is. The posture of a Greek god. So proud is he in the way he walks. His voice bounces off the walls of heaven directly into your ears. That man there is confident. Oh yes, I am. And you see, with confidence, there comes women. Women love confidence, or at least that was what this panel of men were telling their 100% male audience with complete and utter confidence. And you see, like, this very early era of online dating advice was really just putting across a pretty simple and kind of nice message that you should just be yourself, but be confident in who you are. Didn't really matter if you were like a manly man or a bit of a soft boy.
I do believe in the looks don't matter, because I am fucking testament to it, right?
I was like, hey, the looks matter. The looks matter. What about money? I'm only 5'6". Can I get girls? There's only one thing that matters. Do you have balls?
But you see, my friends, whilst this message of self-love was being spread around the internet, at the same time there was a quieter but slightly darker, more fundamentalist attitude spreading around the dark corners of the internet.
If he doesn't assert masculine dominance over you to some degree where he becomes a leader and a provider and a protector, you're going to look otherwise for another man.
Conduct yourself like a gentleman, be rich, be tall, be funny, and you're good.
People are pretending it's not normal. It's not normal for a man to want more than one girl. Absolutely is normal. It's absolutely normal for men to have more than one woman. This is how we are. We're mammals like everything else. If you look at a lion's pride,
RSD, or Real Social Dynamics, they were like this sort of, you know, the bad boys of online dating advice. They were kind of a bit edgier, right? Now, yeah, they were talking about confidence and that confidence was very important, but confidence to them meant something a little bit different.
The process is step one, open all. As soon as something comes within my line of sight, bang, I open it. I do this because I know that my reticular activation system is going to find every single excuse in the book, like a Nobel Prize-winning scientist, of finding excuses why this girl should not be approached. She's too hot, she's not hot enough, even though you could have just chatted or gained a little social momentum.
You know, these guys, they were really odd, right? They would dress in weird ways just to show how much they didn't give a shit about what people thought about them. What they were doing, and I don't know how thought out it was, but they were presenting the archetype of what they considered the attractive man. The attractive man behaves like this, he talks like this, and he walks like this. And most importantly, what the attractive man was not you. You were not it. Fucking hell, you're not it.
How easy would it be to just fall into the frame, like letting this hectic environment like dictate to me how I should feel? If I looked around, I'd be like stuck in my head, like, oh my God, people around, filming, oh my God. But it's like, no, dictate the fucking rhythm. Okay, don't fall into the little permission boy frame of looking around and being a slave to your emotions. Like, look at this. I feel nothing, being shoved, girls, guys, people screaming, you know, kisses. I feel the same.
And so the self-help message had moved a little bit away from, you know, just be confident in who you are, get to know yourself and put that out into the world. It was kind of being swapped out for be confident like we are being confident.
Why can't you look at me in the eyes? Why are you getting so nervous coming in? Look, you already ran out of things to say. Why are you laughing? You think it's gonna help? Why are you quiet? Look,
So why was this happening? Well, I think in the beginning, there was an element where these people, these coaches were starting to realize they had tapped into a very lucrative market. A market of very lonely men online who were desperate to find the love of their life, or failing that, getting laid.
Balls Deep. I'm sure most of you have already read it. It's one of my better sellers.
Now look, I am pleased to announce that in a few weeks' time, I will be running a Karma Lifestyles Day Game Bootcamp.
Put together a free training down below. You can check out my brand new MVB product. The link is in the description. Check that out.
I mean, like, I'm not being a dick, bruv, but just look at some of the people who are attending these courses. Clearly, they're just the nerdy kid. Probably they just wanted to literally meet a woman for the first time. Maybe even get married one day. But these bros, these like fucking salesmen, were kind of telling them that that's, you know, okay, get married, but what about you become an alpha man that dates multiple women? You got loads of women, you know, women out the wazoo. Imagine you had so many women, you didn't know what to do with them. Where are my car keys? Fuck, it must be under one of these women. Jesus. You see, my friends, women are the prize. They are the Pokemon cards of life in which you collect. Not interesting, unique individuals that you learn about and in turn you learn more about yourself with, you connect and you can trust each other and live together and have a beautiful life. No. My friends, women are an object in which you conquer.
In this video, I'm gonna talk about the top 5 lessons that I've learned from approaching over 10,000 women. Now,
before we go any further, this video is brought to you by CyberGhost VPN. With over 38 million users worldwide, this is the most recommended VPN on the market, with a near perfect score on Trustpilot of 20,000 people rating it excellent. These days, a VPN is essential when using the internet to protect your digital privacy. If you click in that little incognito mode, I'm sorry to say it, mate, but you're not protected. You are literally being constantly spied on when you're on the internet. Your internet service provider, your school or work's IT department, even your own damn Wi-Fi router is spying on you. And I would say that's pretty intrusive. And if you want to stop that, you need CyberGhost VPN. Just turn on CyberGhost VPN before you browse, and it's going to encrypt and reroute 100% of your traffic through their secure servers. It's that simple. CyberGhost VPN have servers in over 100 different countries. By changing your location, CyberGhost VPN can give you access to regionally locked content on Netflix, Amazon Prime, and any streaming service. The app's available on any operating system. It can protect up to 7 devices at the same time for you. So literally, you can just share your subscription with your friends and families. It's totally cool. What's most important is that CyberGhost VPN doesn't keep any logs, so they don't even have the ability themselves to know what you're doing on the internet. Now is the perfect time to get CyberGhost VPN. By using the link in the description, you'll benefit from an 83% discount and 4 months for free. And they'll give you a 45-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 customer support. It's completely risk-free. So use the link in the description, get CyberGhost VPN, and start protecting your digital life today. Now look, I really want to make it very clear. It's very important to understand that not all of these online coaches and not all of these people were pushing that message. Not all of them. Some were offering very good advice. However, the online market was incentivizing a sort of gamification of dating. If they want to retain more customers for them to treat dating like it is a game, then you can kind of sell them shit. More shit, online courses, one-on-one coaching, boot camps, ebooks, e-boys, Elon Musk. What's going on, bros? Dates on Demand here. If you guys have been in field lately and you're not getting as many numbers, maybe your flake rate is going up a little bit, well, you're in luck because today's video, I'm going to give you the 5 secrets to seduction. You see, slowly, the advice of just be yourself, go say hello, just wasn't cutting it anymore. Yeah, you gotta neg her. Tell her she's all right for a blonde. You don't want to be a simp, right? What's that? You got feelings of affection to a woman? What are you, gay? Very quickly, a new culture had emerged, and it was called the red pill. To be honest, it wasn't new, it just sounded dramatic when I said that. The red pill and this sort of thinking had been around since it was legal to slap your wife. But the modern internet version of it kind of came around for a book called The Game in 2005, where a guy who had the fucking secrets to dating told men that they needed to wear big weird hats and do card tricks because that will make her love the real you. They presented dating like this puzzle, like a problem to be solved, like a mathematical, scientific game. They would offer advice which was pretty much anything other than genuine human expression and connection. And this style of content would go on to take over the internet.
It's reality. That's the axiomatic structure
If I was a
of the entire perception.
doing the animals, gymnastics, if I was a woman, dodging the lasers.
I hate women.
You see, the reason I focus on dating a lot is because I really do think that is the place that a lot of young lads start at when they enter this kind of self-help, self-improvement world. They just want to meet a woman. I really think that is at the core of lots of this. For me personally, I steered clear of like the RSD, the red pill sort of stuff. But I personally really did love the idea of meeting my future wife in a bookshop or a coffee shop. I know, little Romeo over here. Because in this period of time when you're sort of like late teenagers, early 20s, women is kind of all that matters to you. However, at some point, probably in your early 20s, you slowly are forced to think about other things than just women. Things like your career and how the fuck am I ever going to afford a house? And so as time went on, there became this fusion of different online communities. Online dating advice met online fitness and bodybuilding forums, as well as like finance gurus, all came together, had one big old orgy from which birthed the world of self-help / self-improvement.
Adonis started his self-improvement journey young. Years of good habits developed Adonis to be the kind of man that we would aspire to be. Because just look at him. He looks amazing. He feels amazing. His life is amazing. And it has all come from self-improvement.
Self-help / self-improvement really became a catch-all umbrella term for a growing subculture of people who were trying to just better themselves. And whilst it wasn't explicitly only young men, it really did appeal to lots of young men. Self-help moves beyond how to just meet a woman and becomes a new thing. How do we survive in this very changing world that's much different to the world my dad grew up in? And so the self-help movement became like introspective. It started teaching men a sort of more holistic approach to life, like better mental health practices. Talking about the benefits of journaling and meditation, better physical health, like eating better, supplements, sleeping pattern, getting in the sauna, doing cold plunges. It built upon the original foundation of improving your confidence and bled into how to better yourself, how to be a better man to survive the real world.
Things have become way more expensive, but wages have been stagnant, which means that you and your family are probably struggling. And it just makes you so sad and agitated as an ambitious young man. You want to be able to provide and actually help your family. And so you have the desire to make more money. I think we all, as like a generation of young men, want to make more money. We want to be able to provide, but we're just kind of confused on how to do that.
Now, Gen Z entered the big boy world in 2010s. You know, they were finishing up uni, they were fresh faced, ready to take on the world. But you know, they kind of joined the game late. Everyone already had their hands, all the snacks were eaten. Post 2008 financial crash, the whole world went to shit. GDP growth stagnated, wages stagnated, and the cost of living and the cost of housing just started to go up and up. But you see, we had entered a new world, a world that was now intertwined with social media and smartphones. And so the self-help industry found a new frontier to help these struggling youngsters survive in this crumbling economy. But now with algorithms and punchy titles and retention strategies to help accelerate them. And it seemed to largely focus on young men. Whilst being completely specific, women's living standards are also going down. It might be improving from where it was, but the general trend, it's not looking good for all of us. And you see, whilst this was all happening, whilst vids were being liked and saved and shared around, slowly the decrepit, dying head of the mainstream media eventually turned around and started to see what was going on.
What is this? Things we don't understand? No, you don't.
And so, the mainstream media proceeded to post an onslaught of articles to try and explain to us common folk this phenomena.
Well, folks, the left has decided that apparently being in shape and working out is a far-right thing.
Joe Rogan and Elon Musk call out MSNBC for suggesting being healthy and in shape is far right.
Do you like going to the gym? Do you like lifting weights? Well, guess what? You're a far-right extremist, you pig.
What the fuck, bro? I'm not right wing. I voted for Bernie Sanders. I just like to lift some weights. Look, something weird was happening here, but for us to truly analyze what was happening, we really needed a lot more nuance than what some of these articles were putting forward. And equally, some more nuance in how these articles were being interpreted by online commentators.
Lately, the trusted media like MSNBC has been enlightening us to the fact that fitness is a far-right phenomenon. So if you've been exercising, now you're caught red-handed, fascist.
Self-help is really a very nebulous term. It encapsulates lots of different groups that are quite separate. You know, you might have an individual who listens to Joe Rogan. They then take some health advice from Andrew Huberman whilst they go to bed with David Goggins shouting why they're worthless in their ears. That can be quite a different person than someone who listens to Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, and Sneeko, telling them that every single woman who doesn't wear a sundress all the time wants to steal their homes in which they will never be able to afford, of course. And not only that, she wants to cheat on you with a Bugatti, unless you are an alpha man.
Move forward. I'm a man.
Forward.
I am a man. I am a man.
Now look, these are two examples of like different schools of thought who are offering advice to men, but from two very different perspectives. One is sort of haplessly saying work hard and eat supplements. The other is saying buy my shitcoin and maybe one day a girl will kiss you. And just imagine, right, you're this young 18-year-old with very little life experience, and you don't know what the fuck's going on, and everyone's shouting at you, do this, buy this, buy that. That can be quite a challenging world to navigate, because, we don't know, what the fuck? And imagine this young lad, right, he's gone on his journey, he starts lifting weight, he feels good about himself, and then Joe Rogan starts whispering in his ear that the lamestream media are calling you a fascist. And so from here, something started to happen. MSNBC put out this article which originally, they changed the title in the end, but originally, the far right's obsession with fitness is going digital. This article went viral on Twitter, got 55 million views, and some very well-known people responded to it. MSNBC thinks you're a Nazi if you work out, LaMayo, said Elon Musk. Patrick Bet-David said, so is the opposite also correct? The far left's obsession with being fat and part of LGBTQ is going digital. And Joe Rogan chimed in, being healthy is far right. Holy fuck. Let's just delve into the article where it actually says a little bit. It reads, white supremacists' latest scheme to valorize violence and hypermasculinity has gone digital. In it, it talks about Hitler and Mein Kampf, how he was fixated on boxing and jiu-jitsu. And it's true, Hitler talked about the Obermensch, this perfect body of the most beautiful German man, with his strong muscles to protect the strong German men and women, obviously. And the article goes on to talk about how there have been documented cases of far-right groups using gyms and fitness as a means of recruiting people to the far right. And it also talks about how in fascist ideology, there is an obsession with the male body, with training, masculinity, testosterone, strength, competition, and being a strong warrior. The article concludes by saying, fitness is of course a staple and hobby for many people for whom it is enjoyable and rewarding for brain health and overall well-being. Now, really, I just want to be quite fair on the article here. It is specifically talking about a specific recruitment strategy of a specific group. And all the things it said about fascism, etc. was all true, but the problem was, this article was released in a period of time where there had been stories like the OK symbol is racist, maths is racist, milk is racist, air conditioning is sexist. And often, whilst there might have been, if you were to read the article or the study, there may have been some interesting nuance, something that was actually kind of interesting, contained within it.
The man accused of carrying out the shootings posted his racist views and announced what he was going to do on the web, a white power hand sign that's often used to troll or just upset liberals. Yes, I know it's a sign that we all use. It's the OK sign, but it's taken on another meaning on these forums. White nationalists used this sign in public time after time. The SPLC says this kind of wink and nudge interaction with the racist right is a direct route to its normalization. It serves as a white supremacist symbol, according to the writer Amanda Marcotte, one designed to be just ordinary enough looking that when liberals express outrage, white supremacists can then play the victim of liberal hysteria.
The media apparatus and the market incentive to get clicks led journalists and mainly the newspapers to push for more rage bait titles that they knew were going to piss off people. It was in their economic incentive for Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, and all these people to get pissed off by it, because at the end of the day, it means more eyes on their content.
MSNBC knows that people, the algorithm will respond to its tweet getting a lot of engagement, and engagement doesn't have to be positive. It doesn't have to be a bunch of people saying, "Oh, we love, great story, good reporting." People arguing in the comments makes it look like a lot of people are interacting with the post, which technically they are, although they are screaming at one another.
And so yeah, the right-wing reactionary circuit lapped this story up. Jim is now racist, apparently, bro. Any point that they might have been trying to make around the obsession with strength, genetic superiority, the idolization of like hyper-masculine characteristics, all of that was just kind of dismissed. It's a very interesting topic, and it's one I want to touch on to, because if you actually look at that original post, the Twitter post that went viral, and we scroll down a few comments, we will read a tweet with 3.3k likes, linking a study that says increasing someone's testosterone made Democrats turn into Republicans. And if we take a little step back and look at some of the other people that commented on this article, Joe Rogan, PBD, Zuby, and Elon Musk, well, I mean, they're not right-wingers, are they? Like, they all voted for Trump. We are quite aware of that. So we're gonna have to ask the fucking question, boys. Is going to the gym right wing? I would say, as someone who, sort of softly affiliates in this world, there is definitely an overlap with gym goers, self-help, self-improvement type people, and right-wing politics. Not all of them. I'm saying not all of them. Nuance. And I think it's really helpful if we actually just look at that study, the study that guy linked, which says that more testosterone equals more right-wing. So firstly, we have to note this study was done in 2011. This was pre-Donald Trump, quite a different time politically, and it was done amongst 136 young men. That's quite a small sample size. What they found was that people who were staunch Democrats and staunch Republicans, no amount of testosterone you could pump in them could change their mind. But then you had this little group that were kind of like weakly affiliated. I'm kind of Democrat, I'm kind of a Republican. These bros. They juiced them boys up with testosterone. They found that the Republicans, nothing changed. But then weak Democrats, when they got hit with that tea, they fucking started reading Mein Kampf. That's a joke. They became a little bit less inclined to say they were Democrat and actually felt a little bit warmer toward Republicans. Now, the paper was criticized for its very small sample size, and that the experiment wasn't run for a very long period of time, and that there was loads of potential confounding variables, things that might have influenced the results, which inside the paper they acknowledge. The paper also offers an explanation, such as that those people who were weak Democrat supporters, they may have secretly preferred the Republican Party anyway, but just kept it secret. This is a phenomena that we in Britain call the silent Tory. It's a well-known thing. People kind of feel embarrassed for saying, yeah, I'm a Tory. But despite what the study itself said, it didn't stop it from becoming a flag that people on the right would use to confirm this suspicion that all Democrats were low-T cucks and Republicans were alpha giga chads. And this reaction in and of itself is really interesting, because what it tries to do is to boil politics and views down to a hormonal or a biological determinist perspective. That your inner chemistry, your genetics are what shapes the way you view the world. That Democrats are just weak, soft beta males and are upset because they're losing out to cool guy Republican.
It is a fact that blacks have a disproportionate amount of the violent crime in their community. Why do you think that is?
You said y'all don't f***ing understand statistics. How you speak on numbers?
Thanks for your time.
Oh dear, that sad soy boy doesn't want to give Kirk a platform, the dude with millions and millions of followers. That makes sense.
And there's actually a Twitter thread that goes into this study and points out a few holes. The study itself showed that those people who were weak affiliated Democrats actually had the highest levels of testosterone by 19%. So despite having the highest testosterone, they were really shy and private about being Republicans. It also just sort of reiterates the fact that a pool of 136 people is very small. And so it's a bit of an inconclusive study. It also went on to say that it's well understood and well studied that testosterone levels don't just cleanly map onto like stereotypical masculine traits. Like if you were given the most alpha giga chad on earth and then the biggest soy on earth, and you were told to guess what their T levels were, your guess would be as good as random. T doesn't inherently mean hyper masculine, giga chad, assertive. It doesn't. There's also studies that show being a hyper aggressive dominant man doesn't mean you will have high testosterone. And so effectively, this whole thing around testosterone levels just isn't what right-wingers want it to be. It's not a great predictor of strength and bravery and courage and stuff like that. But you see, to give the people who make that claim credit, testosterone levels aside, there have been studies that show that as men get more muscly, they become more right-wing. Dr. Michael Price did a study with 171 men. The results suggested that wealthier men who were more formidable physically are more likely to oppose redistribution of wealth, and they're more motivated to defend their own resources. And also that less wealthy men, who are also still physically formidable, don't seem more inclined to support redistribution either. Also, it talks about how there were previous studies that show that more muscular men tend to be more likely to support war. There's also a significant correlation between men who are more muscly and their belief that some social groups should dominate others. Dr. Price continues. He says that the standard conventionalism is that people are adapting their morality to their physical nature. What comes first is that you're big and strong. You find yourself in this big muscular body, and other people around you are then intimidated by you. And so you have status and tend to win. So your brain will say, well, I like inequality because inequality suits me. Benefits me. And he also goes on to say that this phenomena isn't found in women, which is interesting because being a big, strong woman doesn't increase their status within our social hierarchy, whilst it does for men. So this implies that there is something very interesting that happens with men and power.
Anyone who doesn't know me knows I used to run a webcam studio. So I had 75 women working for me. And they were talking to guys online and taking money from all the Democrats and betas, were sending them money, and the money went to me. This is how I first made big money. So 75 women underneath, and you had thousands of men underneath them giving them the money, which kind of went to me. So it was kind of like a weird dynamic.
I just slept with Karishma, and this must be her standard tactic with Indian guys because they're so beta, that she sleeps with them. The next day she dumps them. It puts her in a position of power from the get-go, doesn't it?
If you look at a lion's pride, if there's 5 men and 5 women, that's not 5 happy couples. No, it's 1 lion with 5 girlfriends and 4 lions who don't get pussy unless they beat the best lion in the fight. That's how lions work. Girl is happy to share you. I'm telling you. No, I take that back. She may not be happy to share you, but she'll fucking do it. Why do you think people join the army? Why do you think the Romans fucking were walking in directions? Why do you think the Mongols destroyed Europe? For pussy.
Now you probably see where I'm going with this, right? A conservative, a traditional right-winger takes a look at the world and sees the outcomes of people's lives, their successes or their failures, as a direct result of their decisions and choices.
According to Pew Research, the net worth of white families in 2013 was $141,000. For black families, it was $11,000, even less than the $19,000 it was in 2007. Given this disparity, how can you argue that racism is not a driving factor in income inequality?
Because it has nothing to do with race and everything to do with culture. And when you have a culture that doesn't...
This was very similar to me, right? This is exactly what happened to me. I didn't get into the gym until a bit later, but I was always sporty and healthy, and I followed the sort of self-improvement stuff. I worked very hard. I was obsessed with making a side hustle, a business. And those businesses, whilst they didn't succeed, they gave me lots of experience. Experience that landed me a job in marketing that was a degree-level job, whilst I didn't have a degree. And I was looking at some of my old friends who were just still smoking weed, doing nothing, and I was comparing them to glorious me, the self-made man, who landed his mid-level job and renting a tiny flat with my mates. I was improving. And from there, right, I did all the side hustle stuff. I made a YouTube channel on the side. All of a sudden, a fucking video goes viral. Next thing I know, I'm a YouTuber. I'm a self-made fucking YouTuber, bruh. I'm living out the dream. I'm working for myself. I went to the gym. I put on a little bit of muscle. And I even met my now wife in a coffee shop. I did the thing I wanted to. I fucking did it. At that point in my life, I was the deepest believer in meritocracy. I won the self-improvement game. But then I started to notice something.
Because I started to realize like the reason I got success ultimately really comes down to the fact that my parents own their house. I didn't have to move out of the house until I was like 25. So my parents, and I didn't go to uni, my parents just allowed me to dick around for like 8 years. I was just allowed to, I told them, I'm gonna make a clothing brand. I'm gonna make a vegan food stand. And they, you know, they didn't charge me rent, so I didn't have to get a full-time job, didn't have to pay rent. So I have so much more time to take opportunities. And for me, it worked out. By the end of it, I'd gone and done a lot of hard work, but the reason being I could do that is because I had all that extra free time that most people didn't fucking have. The reason my YouTube career popped off was because I got furloughed for 2 months as one of my videos went viral. So I had two months just to work on YouTube videos.
For all of the hard work and perhaps individual skills that I may or may not have, if I was literally born a few postcodes away to a different family with a different set of economic circumstances, where I might have ended up at a different school with a different type of friend group, there is a very good chance that all of the things that happened to me wouldn't have.
Social mobility exists at a very zoomed in scale. You know, 2 kids grew up next door to each other on the same street. If one of them like works really, really, really hard and like studies really, really hard, and the other one, you know, sits around smoking weed, like most chances this guy will end up richer than that guy. But if there's a kid like 10 minutes down in a nice neighborhood who's from a much richer family, that kid can sit around and smoke weed. You'll never catch him. You'll never catch him.
He'll end up in market.
What I mean is like
self-improvement, if not done very carefully with a very wide understanding of the reality of the world, can often lead people to having a feeling of superiority, where you look at how well you do based on your decisions compared to everyone else. And that feeling of superiority, or even just that belief in meritocracy, can actually be more potent in people who do slip through the cracks and become successful from very poor backgrounds.
When they feel envious, because they want to level the playing field, which is all envy is, instead of trying to elevate themselves, they try and drag others down. So when people look at my life and they're envious of me, what they should say is, he's truly from the most humble possible socioeconomic beginnings. He is a person of color from a council estate, a single mother household. He's at the bottom, and he made it up to the highest echelons. He's on the phone with Elon Musk and is a billionaire. If he can do it, I can do it.
Despite the fact that they are literally an exception to the rule, and that's why their story is interesting, their story helps to reinforce the myth that anyone from any background can make it in life. But we all know that, well, because one person in the millions of people who entered the lottery won, that doesn't mean that we can all win the lottery. It just is impossible. And so if you fail to factor in luck into a person's success, or even perhaps that person was incredible, they did have more willpower, more determination, perhaps they were above average, well, this can lead you down a dangerous path.
It's not good for you, and it's not good for them. No. There has to be a point at which dad comes home. And when dad gets home, you know what he says? You've been a bad girl. You've been a bad little girl, and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now.
I would say it is true that there is like an implicit risk for an individual who pursues self-improvement, where you can find yourself in a place where you see success as like the be-all and end-all of everything. That if a person is successful, they must just be the best person, right? Makes sense. But this is a slippery road because it can lead to a point where you admire power for the sake of power. Not how the power is used or wielded. Is it used to make the world better, but rather just that they are big and powerful and they are winners.
And I look at China and I look at Russia. Can we give a round of applause for Russia? Yes. Absolutely, absolutely.
I've definitely seen it through certain commentators and people online, where sometimes there's just this kind of like, I don't know, like hero worship, this like subservience to power, that leads them to just following and admiring these like strongman personalities. I think Andrew Tate is a very clear example of that. If you really look into him, it's hard to admire the things that he's done with his power, but I think the admiration for him is really about his persona, his boldness, and his power. But like the reason for this attitude, it can come from a perspective of a view of the world that is completely trapped in a myth. This myth being that our world rewards the people who are the best.
Playing victim is it's an easy way out. Yeah, it's a laziness.
It's a laziness, it's an easy way out, it's a good excuse.
Thousands have come before you, and they did just fine. So quit your complaining.
I saw working out as a way for me to build calluses on my mind. Do some things you do while you feel the way you feel, but no one's coming back to save your ass.
The Gymbro podcast, right? Their message when it comes to like self-improvement and working hard, all this sort of stuff, their message is correct, but I would say is incomplete. The fact that my entire generation will probably not buy a house doesn't come down to a lack of grind set, but it comes down to wage stagnation. Houses being used as speculative assets for the rich. The cost of living soaring because of complicated geopolitics and other factors causing inflation. You sat right there, you have quite literally zero control over these very complicated systems. On an individual level, moaning about these systemic factors won't change anything. All you have control over is yourself. And in this dog-eat-dog world, you need to make yourself a warrior to survive.
You said something to me which I think is fascinating.
Okay.
About why young men are really getting into the gym.
Why
is that?
People want to be able to work hard and progress. People want to be able to work hard and progress. You know, you've read my book, people go, I was insane. You know, I worked fucking hard and I wanted to make money and move up and move up and move up. But we've created this world where it doesn't work. Working hard in your job to get promotion, to make money, to buy a house, to have a family, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So then people want to find an outlet. They want to find something where they can take this energy, you know, I'm getting older now, but you know what it's like to be in your 20s and you have that energy and you want to work and you want to make something, but it doesn't work. You put that energy into work, you put that into education, and you're not getting the outcomes because the outcomes are basically determined on who your dad was. But you go to the gym, you work fucking hard every day, you're going to see the results. So gym is kind of one of the only spaces where young men and young women, to be honest, can, if you put the hours in, you will see the results. And because we've destroyed social mobility in our economy, gym is kind of the only place left where you can do that.
I've heard this concept being explained as capitalist realism. It's a belief that like hyper unregulated capitalism is the only system that can exist. It's the natural state of human existence, and there is no alternative to that. I am sorry. This is a reality that's forced on us from a young age, and it definitely ignores the fact that, you know, you need a very strong state to enforce laws and legal norms to ensure that it works. Otherwise, people might just refuse to pay their rent or just not show up for work if they don't pay them enough. Like, if there was no laws, we could do that, but you know, they've made it very clear that you're not allowed to do that because that's not part of the game. There are people on the left who critique capitalist realism, and they will say there are alternatives, there are ways we can live, and we have lived in the past, and some countries do right now, that doesn't require this sort of cutthroat, dog-eat-dog attitude to life. But unfortunately, to those people, and I agree with those people, that is not the world we currently live in. We live in a society that has become every man for themselves. And in that system, there is no alternative. You need to fight for your breadcrumbs. People might laugh and joke about what Sigma males and monk mode is, but really, it's the embodiment of rejecting the reliance on a society that offers you nothing and forces you to pursue personal responsibility for everything. But I want to just say, like, truly, in my experience, as someone who followed that entire pursuit, that self-help, the self-improvement thing, and succeeded, and I can say with confidence that in this country, in this economy, it's a scam. I'm 30 years old. I have a pretty large mortgage on just an average size apartment in an average town. I drive an okay car, it's not bad. I afforded to get married. I afforded to buy the furniture for this place. And I can even afford to be the sole breadwinner of my family. That is amazing. I'm blessed. I'm truly very proud and happy that that is the case. However, for all of the fucking work I had to do and all that I achieved, materially, I have got What the average dad on one wage had an entire house, working as a milkman, and could afford a bunch of kids running around back in the day. Or better yet, I've got probably less than what the average rich kid got given by his dad today. The balance of hard work to achievements in this world is absolutely fucked. It's not proportional. And like, don't get me wrong, generations in the past did struggle. My parents' generation definitely struggled at points. But back then, at least wages grew with inflation. They weren't getting poorer over time for doing the same work. Also, those jobs were more secure and stable. They could plan their futures. And most importantly, houses were affordable. That is not true anymore. And so to bring the point back, it leaves me in this weird place when I think about my relationship to self-improvement. I definitely see its major shortcomings. I've seen it and witnessed how it can lead young people to idealize the pursuit of being like the perfect archetypal man rather than just being themselves, that they're not enough. And the more extreme side, like the red pill stuff, can definitely teach people bad attitudes towards women. And the self-help world, at its very worst, can teach people to look up to power for the sake of power, which is a slippery slope that can lead to like biological determinist views, which, you know, it's pretty much next door to ending up as a bit of a fascist. People who see strength, power, and superiority as the be-all and end-all. Nothing else matters. However, look, that is self-improvement at its worst. At its best, however, if you go to the gym, if you eat well, you become more disciplined. As well, if you become more confident in your skin, if you start to understand your emotions better, who you are, it can give you some real solid tools to help you survive in this fucked up economy. And on top of that, to those of us who oppose this system that we live in, it can help give us the energy for us to try and fight it. By embracing some of these characteristics, hopefully we can reach out and help some people join us into trying to bring around some change for this world. Instead of letting people manipulate them into admiring the wealthy and the powerful, perhaps we can tap into some of that strength to wrestle back this country from powerful billionaires who have stole it from us. And I hope that we can somehow improve self-improvement to make us focus on working together to bring about a better world rather than being simply a tool for just survival. If you enjoyed this video and you want to support, jump on the Patreon. Massively appreciate ya. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Also, don't forget to check the link in the description to get a special discount on CyberGhost VPN. Protect your data whilst you browse the internet. Get access to blocked content for only $2.03 a month. Totally risk-free. Check it out. Links in the description.